What's up guys, it's Warren Gosling coming to you from my bedroom today because the lighting in my living room is terrible. I've tried to clear up as best as possible, but if you see anything out of place or kind of embarrassing, be kind to me guys, because I know the comment section here can be savage. Anyway, so today I'm going to show you how to create a debt repayment plan step by step and propose it to your creditors. Stick around to the end where I'll go through a worked example of how to put your very own plan together and send and word a letter to your lenders and providers. Hi guys, it's Warren Gosling here, back again with simple, actionable financial literacy tips. If you find today's video useful, do 3 things for me: like it, share it, and subscribe guys. I love interacting with you guys, so let me know how I'm doing by commenting in the section below in the comment section, and you can reach out to me on Instagram. I'm at Warren Gosling. So this is a follow-on from the last 2 weeks episodes guys, which were how to create a budget and how to prioritize your debts. If you haven't seen these, I'd strongly recommend watching these. They really give you the key foundational knowledge on budgeting and prioritizing your debts, which you're going to need before doing the things in this video guys. So go and have a watch of that. So the question now, after doing that, after creating your budget and prioritizing your debts, is how do you get free from debt? How do you approach your lenders and providers? And P.S. we're going to make this more of a visual based setup today guys, so if you like this format, let me know in the comment section below and we can do it more or less if you don't like it. So let's get straight into this. Now we're starting from the assumption that you've already created a budget and prioritized all of your debts. As I said, I'm not going to go into detail on all that, but have a watch of the other videos on how to do that. So now that we know how much we have to contribute towards our debt at the end of each month, and we've prioritized our debts, the next thing to do is to talk to our lenders guys. You have heard me say it in my other videos, but having worked in the banking industry personally for over the last 10 years, specializing in credit risk and worked on many debt cases, trust me, your banks would rather work with you than against you. That's not to say that they're going to let you go riding off into the sunset and forgive you of all of your debts, but it's also not to say that they're sitting at their desks stroking cats like James Bond villains, just waiting to catch you slipping. Trust me, they do want to hear from you guys, but how do we approach them? What do we say, and how do we communicate that towards them? Don't worry guys, I got you. The first step is to send a hold action letter to your creditors. Now this letter requests your creditors to hold off collection action for at least 30 days, and it also asks them to refrain from charging you interest and fees whilst you do this. And I've put a link in the description section below guys, so have a look at that. That's a free template for you. Now you might be thinking, are you kidding me? Seriously, I can't ask the bank to stop charging me for a limited period of time. They're just not going to agree to that. It might be that you've been ignoring the bank for the past 2 months, 6 months, a year or longer, and you're sitting down watching this, just laughing at the screen saying, there's no way they'll agree to this and you can't ask for this. Well, actually, having worked inside the credit risk functions of the world's biggest banks personally at stages over the past decades, the truth is that you can. Trust me, I know this from the inside guys. When you're struggling with debt, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but your lenders want to hear from you. They'd rather work with you than against you. And the UK banking regulators, that's the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority, and the PRA, the Prudential Regulatory Authority, are very focused on conduct and ensuring that banks treat customers fairly and responsibly, even when we're in debt. So thanks to my last 2 videos, you're now in a position to contact your lenders and propose a repayment plan based on what you can afford each month. So let's look at a live example. In this example, imagine that we have an overdraft of £500 that the bank is demanding to be paid in full immediately. Let's say you also have 2 months rent arrears of £600 and the landlord is giving you an ultimatum to pay or to leave. And let's say you have gas bill arrears of £125 with your provider, and they're threatening to shut off your supply. And then lastly, let's say you have mobile phone arrears of £200 and they're threatening to disconnect you. That's £1,425 in total. So what we need to do now is to rank the priority debts in an order that we're going to pay them off. Let's assume we've done our budget, as I said, and it's told us we have £150 available in cash towards debt each month. So how do we apply this £150 to our debts? Now, we know from my previous video on debt prioritization that the priority debts on this list are your rent arrears, your gas bill, and your mobile phone arrears. The non-priority debt is the overdraft. Now, whilst we all love our phones and they're very important, they're not essential, guys. We know that deep inside. So from your priority debts, you want to focus on clearing your rent arrears and your gas bills first. And obviously gas is needed for heating and cooking, but what use is cooking and gas if you don't have a house to live in, guys? Okay, so I personally would rank these priority debts as follows: rent first, gas second, mobile phone third. And given that in this scenario, enforcement action is looming for all of these priority debts, I would apply payment on them all proportionally. So in simple terms, what that means is the largest debt gets the biggest share of the £150 per month, and the smallest debt gets the smallest share of the £150. So with that in mind, what you'll offer is £98 per month towards your rent, £17 per month towards your gas, and £35 per month towards your mobile phone arrears. Now, please note that this is a payment plan which the lenders have to agree to. It's not guaranteed, but it's a proactive step which lenders like to see. Trust me, guys, most borrowers do not do this. So by doing this, it's a great start and you're already way ahead of the curve. So the next step would be to submit this plan to each of your lenders and providers. Don't forget, we've already sent them a hold action previously. So assuming they've agreed to that, they'll be expecting this follow-up letter that we're about to send with our payment plan. So how does this plan look? Well, there's a few things that we want to include in it to almost build our case for what we're offering, because as we saw, your lenders and providers are not going to get paid overnight. So the key thing that we want to include, or the key things that we want to include, are what, when, and why. What the payment is that we're offering, when we're going to clear the arrears by, and why we're offering. Okay, now the payment plan letter that you put together and send might look something like this, and again, there's a link in the description below, guys, so go ahead and download it. So for the what we're offering, these are the payment amounts that we just discussed that are going to be applied proportionally, where the largest debt gets the biggest share of the £150, and so on. So in the letter that you can see right now, under the first section called amount, you want to input this. You also want to state how much your total arrears are outstanding to them, so put this under the second section called amount. The when is very simple. It's the total amount of arrears divided by the monthly payment that we're offering. So in this example, with the rent arrears, we have rent arrears of £600 and we're offering to pay £98 per month, which means that they get their arrears cleared in 6 months. Okay. The why is going to be our budget. The good news is that if you've watched my previous video on how to create a budget spreadsheet, go watch this now if you haven't already, is that you already have this. If you want to get hold of a free budget template, also head over to my how to budget video and the link is in that description. So guys, you want to include a copy of your budget in this letter because it shows your lenders or providers your overall financial situation, and it gives a rationale for why you're planning to pay them the amounts that you're paying them in installments. And then lastly is the part that often gets skipped over. It's what to do after you've agreed your repayment plan. Okay, you've proposed your plan, hopefully your lender or provider has agreed to that. So what comes next, right? The number one thing that you need to do, guys, and this is really going to blow your mind, so brace yourself for this, guys, is stick to that plan. Okay, if your lender agrees to your payment plan to pay specific amounts on specific dates, guys, they're going to expect their money. So make sure that the plan that you've made and you've proposed is achievable and realistic. And I want to leave you with one simple actionable tip to do that, guys. 3 words: automate, automate, automate. Automate the payments, guys, using a standing order or a direct debit, whichever the two. I'd recommend it shortly on or after the date that you get paid each month. And this really just takes the burden and onus off of you to make the decision to make those monthly payments to the people that you owe manually, because inadvertently we either forget or we find an excuse to talk ourselves out of paying it for a particular month. You know what we're like, guys. We're only human. So that's this week's video on how to create and propose a payment plan to your lenders, guys, and your providers. If you found this content useful, please share it, guys. I'm really passionate about getting this information out there to people that really need it. Join me next week where I'll be talking about the debt snowball method. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and I shall see you guys next week.